Alrighty guys, girls and whatnot, I am back again. This time doing a video which is currently in the month of January. I will most likely be uploading this in February, March, so if I look different it's because this is a video not released in March and Feb or even later, which you obviously know. So yeah, basically today I'm looking at a video that I've been wanting to do, and I wanted to hold it back for as long as possible, but I just got to do it. And that is characters in Super Smash Bros. 5. Before I get into that, I want you to understand that I still love Super Smash Bros. 4. I'm still playing with it. I'm not done with it yet. It's just that all the DLC characters have been announced. We most likely will get a couple of other stages like Fountains of Dreams or whatever. But the thing is, Sakura might be starting to work on the next roster, and well, not just that, but he has stated in previous interviews that he had a proper idea of who was going to be in Smash 4 in the early stages. So I figured I'd do this because he might be starting to think of Smash 5, Smash 5's roster. Whether he actually watches this video is a whole nother case, but I'm going to do it now, so don't jump to the conclusion that, you know, I'm just kind of all the characters are out, there's no more need for Smash 4. I think there's a lot of Smash 4 that I can play, a lot more I can learn from. It's just a game that never ends. Yeah, when it comes to learning, I guess. Kind of similar to drums, I think, where the more and more complex you get at the game, the more you have to learn. But that's another video. So I'm going to break this down into two parts. The first part is just a general overview of some of the characters that are going to appear in Smash 5, or my theories and who I want. And the second part is a series that I thought are underrepresented in Smash 4. Which could do with 3 to 4 new characters. With that being said, we'll do the general section first. Firstly, I want to cover something, and that's who's going to appear in the first trailer. When it comes to the first trailer, I'm sure the characters that they pick are very crucial. They need to be relevant, they need to be somewhat new, not new, but somewhat important in a game series. We have, and the two that really come to my mind first are the Inklings from Splatoon and Ridley. Inklings or the sisters from Splatoon. The reason why I see them in the first trailer is because it's Nintendo's most successful new IP. It would help market the game, give Splatoon possibly a sequel because it's because of the support in Smash. It's also a character heavily requested, and it just makes sense for Inklings to be in the first trailer. I mean, generally in the Brawl first trailer we saw Wario, and Wario was quite a new IP back then. And I can't remember in Smash 5 we had Animal Crossing's Tom Nook, Animal Crossing Villager. Not a new IP, but somewhat new in popularity back then. And Inklings fits the same. It has that. It's reasonably new, and it has a solid fan base. Animal Crossing isn't that new, but it kind of. I think the 3DS version really took off. I'm not sure about the Wii City Folk, but I'm pretty sure the GameCube. It had its supporters, but it didn't. It's nowhere near as big as what it is now. So I think the first trailer often has recognizable characters. The other one that I'm thinking will be in the first trailer, and I think it'd be silly for Nintendo not to put this character in the game simply because he sells. He will sell, and that is Ridley. I'm not crazy on the debate. I don't read it much. I wouldn't mind Ridley in it, but he would help sell the game for sure. I mean, he's just a money machine, really. I mean, and the truth is, if they can, they probably will. I'm not sure. I think with a bit of tweaking it's possible to have Ridley in, but I mean, I'm not going to get into that debate because judging by Smash scores, it went on and on and on. But yeah, so if Ridley's going to be in the game, I would pretty much assume it would be in the first trailer. He'd be in the first trailer. Not only that, but I like to see Kraid after. But the thing is, if you pick Kraid, it'd be silly to have Kraid before Ridley, basically. It's like having, yeah. Anyway, so that's summing up the two from that will be announced in the first trailer. I don't think K. Rool has a good chance of being part of the roster. But the thing with K. Rool is he's not as relevant as the other two. He is not really he hasn't been a villain in Donkey Kong for a while, yet he is still very popular. So I would assume he wouldn't be announced in the first trailer. He might not be announced at all, but if he isn't announced at all and he's in the game, I think he's going to be an unlockable, and that's what I think he will be. Just simply because, yes, he's not an iconic character, or he's an iconic character, but not to the mass market or the mass population. And on top of that, we've got these other new IPs, such as not new IPs, but just IPs that haven't been represented. Golden Sun's one, Custom Robo is another, Advance Wars is one. Those three are quite... Custom Robo, Advance Wars, and Golden Sun, they have a huge fan base. Not a huge one, but a decent one. But what might hinder their chances is that they haven't had a new game in a while. Nintendo might just want to put them under the rug, kind of forget about them and move on. I hope not for all three. I played Custom Robo, I played a bit of Golden Sun, and I played a bit of Advance Wars, and they're solid games. I really want to see Andy, just so I can hit people with a wrench. I really want to see Isaac. I really want to see Ray. But as I said before, it really depends if Sakurai thinks any of them are at all important in Nintendo. For the retro, I mean, a lot of people want Takamaru. I think that's how you pronounce it, the samurai. I'm kind of more leaning towards... Sorry, this was the first edit of any video. I'm going to have to resort to this just because of other altercations. But yeah, I was just saying how Takamaru is... I don't know if altercation is the right word, but Takamaru is definitely popular, but I'm looking for Mike Jones from Star Tropics. He seems like a very interesting character. There's also Lit from Pendledupon. Those are the three that I wouldn't mind in. I think a lot of them are quite well known. Mike Jones probably the least well known, but I think it'd be cool to have Mike Jones because he was marketed to the Western audience. So having a character that was solely marketed to the Western audience would be cool. And then I get on to two IPs that I would really like to see, but people have completely forgotten them. One being The Last Story by Miss Walker. I think his name is Zale, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that, but I think he would be a cool addition. I've only played a little bit of Last Story, and the reason why I want him in is because he is from a very solid game, and having him in Smash might help Last Story continue to put out more, continue to have more sequels. Simply because, yeah, I mean, there's very few Smash characters that have appeared in one game, and that's that. And just overall, it's an interesting game. I mean, I think Miss Walker, yeah, that's the best Miss Walker game I've played. I played Lost Odyssey, which is a solid combat, but the towns were very dull and the side quests weren't that interesting. But I thought Last Story was really helped. Last Story showed Miss Walker had really improved in making decent towns, which just shows that Miss Walker are just getting better and better. And so a Last Story sequel would be nice, and I'm sure having one of them characters would help push it and help market it. There's also Fatal Frame, I think it is called. It's Nintendo's survival horror game, and that one's a bit harder to do harder to get a moveset made, because I think the protagonist, I've never played it, uses predominantly a camera, so it would have to be a moveset based on the camera, and I'm not sure how that would work unless they were to add a ghost from the game, remove anything gory so it's appropriate for kids, and then do a Captain Falcon and make up a moveset. But I do think Fatal Frame really deserved to be in Smash, because amongst survival horror enthusiasts, many know of Fatal Frame. If I've got the right name, I'll put it in the description if I've got the wrong one. So yeah, Fatal Frame is kind of actually a bit iconic. It's just going to be hard to make a moveset or basically hide the gore. I've never played Fatal Frame, so I am not aware of how gory it is and stuff, but I assume it'd be gory if it's survival horror. I mean, if worst comes to worst, the other option is just to have a level. And yeah, that's really it for Newcomers. When it comes to veterans, I just hope they have all the characters except for Pichu, because I don't know, I've got something against Pichu. I think a lot of people do. But it would be cool actually to see the Pokemon trainer return in some sort of form. Simply because the more and more Smash Bros characters are getting more and more like kind of unique and gimmicky. If I don't want to call it gimmicky, but they have a little property that is different to everyone else. Shulk changing his statistics. Lil Mac and his knockout, along with Cloud, who has some sort of similar thing. Rosalina with Luma. You know, these characters are starting to get more and more unique. You know, you've got even Bayonetta being able to slow time, or what's the other one? I'm thinking of Robin, and being able to regenerate, and just the whole book, how the book mechanic works. I never really played Robin. And so I think Pokemon Trainer deserves a return. Maybe not with the same Pokemon. It's up to really the community, but it's another unique character that I'd like to see. So with that all done, I'm going to go on to the second bit, which is really looking at one series that I just thought needed a lot more reps, and hopefully in Smash 5 we will see more characters from the series, and that is Zelda. I mean, when you think of Nintendo, you often think of Mario, Pokemon, and Zelda. I want to say Metroid and others, but seriously, like, a lot of people are mildly aware of Metroid, but gamers in general know of Zelda. They know there's a guy with a green hat and whatnot. Like, I know people go, oh yeah, I've heard of Metroid, but I'm not sure what it exactly is. But with Zelda, they actually have a lot more of an idea of what the game is than Metroid. That's why I don't put Metroid in the list with Mario and Pokemon. So I think they're Nintendo's big three overall. And so yeah, I'm hoping in Smash 5 we see a lot of Zelda characters. The three that come to mind that are quite relevant and probably the most reoccurring and just generally likely to get into Smash. Impa, personally I'd like to see her from the Skyward Sword model over Ocarina of Time. She's quite significant. She was in Hyrule Warriors. You could basically have a moveset from Hyrule Warriors. I haven't played that though, so I can't comment on that. I've played with the Skyward Sword and she uses magic, if I remember correctly, and even the staff. I might be wrong on that. So she's definitely one. There's Toon Zelda, which is one I like the least. The only reason why she's quite relevant is because there's a lot of Toon Link games. And then the third one is Tingle. And Tingle's an interesting case because I see him more like a representative for his own series, because he has had a spin-off himself. 3 games in fact, and I'm kind of hoping if he gets in, all his movesets are really based off those games. I'm sure because of that, he will also have his own little icon when you select him. Probably a rupee or maybe a green hat, green the Tingle Tuner logo, which is what I'd like to see. But yeah, no, he's definitely the Zelda character I want to see most in. But once again, he's like Yoshi or Wario, where he now has his own series, so he deserves his own to be associated with his own series, his own representation. Look, struggling with words there. So we've got Tingle down, and then we have characters that are returning, but aren't as iconic, I'd say. We have Beetle, which is, I just don't want Beetle at all. I mean, I think his name's Beetle. He's a shop owner from Wind Waker and Skyward Sword. He's just a boring character, full stop. I mean, he doesn't have much of a moveset potential either, simply because in Wind Waker he's selling bait mainly and stuff like that, not really any weapons. And I think that's the same with Skyward Sword. He's selling like jars and like little stone things you wear or something, circular stone things, and they improve your abilities. So Beetle's definitely one I don't want to see, but he has appeared in multiple games. Then there's Tetra. Tetra is a cool character. I think Tetra is probably my second most wanted Zelda character, maybe my third. She has a kind of a gun, I think. You never see her actually attack in Zelda games, really, and she has a cutlass as well. Cutlass? A knife, whatever, sword. So yeah, she wouldn't have much reference in her moveset to previous games. I mean, the only weapons that Tetra owns are just for a kind of model reason. They're not actually, you don't actually see her attack with any of the swords or guns. But Smash would be good, would need a pirate, and I think Tetra would be a good fit. She's appeared in 3 games now, Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and 4 Swords, but she's not up there with Impa or Tingle, which are more well-known characters, I think. And the final one is Vati. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it's a villain, and Vati is pretty damn cool. I mean, the thing is that we haven't seen a 3D model of Vati ever, but it's another villain, and a lot of people want more villains. He's also a magic user, another thing that people are looking for. He's in 4 Swords and Minish Cap, and yeah, just Vati would be an interesting character. He could work, that's for sure, and he's in my top 5 Zelda. So that's summing up the reoccurring characters. There's probably some that I've forgotten, but I want to look at the characters that have appeared once in a Zelda game apart from Hyrule Warriors. The one that comes to mind first is Midna. I haven't played Twilight Princess, I really want to. Midna is cool from the looks of things. She deserves a mention because a lot of people actually want her in Smash. Judging by the weird arm thing coming out of her head, I think she'd be cool, she'd be unique. She could possibly ride a wolf. I'm waiting for Twilight Princess HD before I start playing Twilight Princess, but that's irrelevant. So Midna's definitely up there as one of the characters. You have Skull Kid. Skull Kid is a villain from Majora's Mask. He has moveset potential, but he just looks really cool. I love that mask design. So that's all I've got for Skull Kid. He's definitely one of the characters I'd like to see that has only appeared once in a Smash game. We have Groose. I'm not a huge fan of Groose in Smash, but other people have talked about him and have wanted him. He's kind of a comical character. I never finished Skyward Sword, I really didn't like it, but from what I saw he didn't really do much apart from fly birds. Like, he didn't really use weapons or anything that I saw, so he doesn't have that great a moveset potential, but I can understand that people want him in because he's quite funny and probably one of the better characters in Skyward Sword. I do have a theory that we're going to see a town called Groose in a future Zelda game. So I've knocked them down, and there's a character that I can't remember the name of because I've never played Hyrule Warriors, but she's only appeared in that, and she has a chance to be in Smash because she might appear in all the Hyrule Warriors and be a significant character, be the character that is be the character that kind of is exclusive to Hyrule Warriors but constantly reoccurring. And then the final one, and this is the Zelda character I want most, and that is Ravio. Not most, but out of probably in the top 3, and as Ravio. I haven't played A Link Between Worlds, but I saw that trailer for Ravio, this fan-made trailer for Smash, and it just really got me hooked on the idea of having Ravio. He's got like all the weapons that you buy from him in A Link Between Worlds. Plus, somehow they can use a mechanic where Link goes into the wall and becomes 2D. They could somehow do that on the stage for Smash with Ravio. Or Rovio, I think it's Ravio. And also, he just looks damn cool, I'm not going to lie. And I'm really hoping Ravio is a returning character just because the model is awesome and he's just overall interesting. So my top 3 for Zelda are really Tingle, Tetra, and Ravio. I really want Ravio to, as I said before, to return in more games and has a decent moveset potential. Tetra I'm going to like because I'm a bit biased because she is from one of my favourite Zelda games, Wind Waker, and she has returned in multiple games. And then there's Tingle, who's just in a lot of Zelda games and has his own series. So I think I'll conclude on that. I'm just trying to think if there's any other characters I'm forgetting. I mean, there's the Mask Man, the Happy Mask Man Sales. I can't remember his name, but he has potential to change forms like Link does when he wears masks. I mean, there's the argument that young Link should return and have the whole mask system. So if he wears a Goron mask, he turns into Goron. I don't want that necessarily. I'd much rather the Happy Mask sales. The dude that sells masks. And with that being said, I think that's it. It's a long video, so enjoy, and I hope you watch it all.